Welcome, America, to Dow's Weekly Digest. 2021. Are we prepared? Are we building robustness to negative events and an ability to take advantage of positive events? Robustness. That reflects an attitude where nothing is permitted to fail under conditions of change. This definition comes from a book that I have read entitled The Black Swan. The impact of the highly improbable. It explains why we are so bad at predicting the future and how unlikely events dramatically change our lives if they do happen, as well as what you can do to become better at expecting the unexpected. Here are 3 lessons that I gathered from The Black Swan. They're to help you get better at expecting what others don't. Number 1, because black swans are always unexpected, they dramatically change the world of those who are not prepared for them. Key point. Number 2, never try to explain the future by looking at your past. It's a bad indicator. That takes us to number 3. If you try to gauge real-world risk like you would in a game of cards, you will likely make bad decisions. Before we go any further, let's explore some cowboy wisdom. Don't sneeze behind a skittish horse. Good food for thought there. And don't ride a new path at a full trot. That one I can personally attest to, folks. That takes us on to South Dakota trivia. South Dakota, a spelunker's paradise. Spelunker's paradise. The Black Hills of South Dakota has 2 national caves, Wind Cave and Jewel Cave. Jewel Cave has over 57 miles of mapped passages. By the way, a spelunker is someone who loves to explore caves. Now, if you ask Dow, is he a spelunker? No way. No way. Now, let's see what the Bible has to say about the unexpected and preparing for it. I'm going to reference Matthew 25, verses 1 to 13. The parable of the 10 virgins, where they go out to meet the bridegroom at the wedding. You see, Jewish weddings were 3 processes. The fathers say it's okay, the betrothal itself, and then the wedding. And these virgins, we had the 5 who were prepared and the 5 who were not prepared. Be prepared. Over the holidays, I had a time to revisit the Black Swan. It seems to hit home to me when looking at the impact and rationale that is surfacing around COVID. Again, it starts with these 3 principles. The event is a rare and unpredictable. It's an outlier so rare that even the possibility of such the event is not identified. The event produces a catastrophic impact, either personally or universally. And finally, we then create an explanation that makes it appear less random and more probable and eventually predictable. You know, the COVID pandemic that is taking its toll on individual families, entire generations, and the global economy, I think qualifies for a Black Swan event. Reflecting on that book, I think the next Black Swan event could well be the generational impact when we pair the needs and complications that inevitably comes with the longevity and the sizable baby boomer generation. Now, what COVID-19 offers us is a window into the future. Do we need to wait until after the boomers and their parents overwhelm the system to recognize that caring for an aging population with an extreme shortage of funding, well-run facilities, adequate professional staff, and trained support caregivers for people to age in place, this may well create the next Black Swan. I'm amazed at how many baby boomers who are caught in the sandwich generation, taking care of their parents while raising their children, and in many cases, trying to stay employed. They don't seem to see the urgency in extended care and long-term care of generational planning. The impact does not confine itself, and it spreads through generations of that family, and by extension to society. As Mother Teresa reminds us, if we have no peace, it is because we have forgotten that we belong to each other. At a minimum, why not at least investigate the many options that are available to fashion an extended or long-term care plan? Given the alternatives, I don't think any generation wants to burden the next. The sandwich generation feels that it's too late to plan for their parents. But is it? No, not really. They may think that they don't have the resources or feel an urgency to plan for their own longer life needs. Is that true? No, not really. Is this an easy conversation to have? No, not at all. Is it a generational problem? Yes. But by coming as an educated family member, discussing a deliberate response instead of a frantic, unsatisfactory to all response, we may avoid the Black Swan syndrome. Let me now share with you a carrier that indeed may be one of those options. I'm speaking of the carrier One America. And what better way to explore the options that One America has for us than to go to the financial markets website, fmiAgent.com, and look at some tools. So from the home page now, I'm going to click on to the Agent Tools. And from the Agent Tools, I'm going to go on to Products. On the left-hand side, I'm now going to scroll down where it says All Carriers. And I'm going to scroll to One America. Now, I'm going to, of course, go down to my daily vitamin of the news. Particularly, I'm interested in January 11th. Now it opens up and it brings up the subject of income instead of assets. Asset care, reoccurring premiums. Now I click onto the button to learn more, to see more information to use income instead of assets. The asset care product, One America, allows your client to begin planning for long-term care earlier in life. Those reoccurring premiums spread the funding for that protection. Maybe 5 years, 20 years, lifetime, say lifetime's 95. Look at these. Guaranteed death benefit, guaranteed premiums, guaranteed cash value growth. A lot of guarantees there. A single premium drop rider available. The availability of an inflation protection. Waiver of premium automatically included on the base and the rider. Now, after exploring this, if I wanted more information on asset care product, who would I contact? Well, I would go to dedicated team and I see my internal wholesaler. That's who I'd contact. Now, I'm going to go back to products of One America and click on to the asset care linked benefit whole life. I'm going to click onto that. From there, I see the features of the funding options. I see the issue ages. I see the primary market for this product. I see the minimum face amount, $50,000, and some of the funding resources. Let's now scroll down below that and go to the Care Solutions micro site. Folks, here is a link that I could put in an email to a potential client and let them explore and get a panoramic view of the situation of long-term care. If I need assistance in doing that type of marketing, who would I contact? You got it. I would contact my internal wholesaler. As I said, the Black Swan event can be universal and personal. You know, my adoptive mother lived no more than a mile from here in an apartment. And she was going to do what she normally does every day, take the mail up to the box to be mailed out. She did so, and she fell and broke her hip. A Black Swan event. And some things I was not expecting, folks. Not only that, but her personal doctor would not follow her to the long-term care. And you've got to watch the definitions of, are they being observed at the hospital or have they been admitted? All of those can encompass the stress and the worry of that Black Swan event. Folks, you can help them when that happens. So they can plan. They can have the oil in their lamps and be ready. The video that I'd like to share with you comes from, of course, One America. And it asks two basic questions. If I had an extended long-term care event, how would that affect my loved ones? And how would I pay for long-term care? Good questions to ask the client.
You've worked hard for the lifestyle you want, and you've set money aside for your future. Most 65-year-olds today live 17 to 20 years in retirement. Picture yours. Imagine taking those dream vacations, watching the sunset, and spending time with family and friends. Yet a long-term illness may change retirement dreams for 7 out of 10 individuals. They're unable to provide for themselves for an extended time. The assets set aside for retirement suddenly have to cover more. Long-term care insurance may help you protect your dreams and those of your loved ones. 2 questions to prepare to answer are: 1, you may never need care, but if you do, how would that affect your loved ones? And 2, if you do need care, how would you pay for it? As you think about the questions, look at how you protect things you value. You purchase insurance to help protect your home and car from losses. If the unexpected happens, you may fully restore or replace these things that you value. Doesn't it make sense to protect your most valuable asset, your future? As you grow older, you have the option to remain in your own home, whether or not you ever need care. The greatest gift you can give yourself, your family, and close friends is the assurance that you may receive quality care and live where you want without being a burden. One America has insurance products that may provide long-term care benefits. Options to pay for coverage include using your existing assets or making ongoing payments. We also offer benefits if you never need care, and the cost of your coverage never increases. Work with your One America insurance agent to protect against the financial burden long-term care may create. Since you have to live in your future, why not protect it?
I like this video, folks, because it kind of went right to the point with the situation. You know, we cover all kinds of things, all risk. We have our house insured, we have our car insured, we have our toys insured, but we neglect to cover that risk of that possible Black Swan event. We neglect to cover our most valuable asset, our future. Folks, when you start to get this gray hair, you can relate both universally and personally to some Black Swan events and how they affected your loved ones and how they affected you. GP for you equals G. That formula, folks, God's plan for you is great, even to cover the Black Swan events. Because blessed are those who ease the pain of misfortune, for they shall be called insurance agents. Take care.